I can't remember exactly how long I've had it, but it is over 3 years. It's 3 years, right around there. So I thought it would be great to do another review of the Anker 767. On top of, I wanted to specifically go over what I've had plugged into it and how many hours it told me for these specific things. Even the little miniature heaters, if you wanted to use it for heating, even the little small room heaters, you know, the ones that are about this size, that I think they say about 450 watts is what the pole is. I only get about 3.5 hours. So, I mean, that would be enough to get you through the most freezing parts of a night, but I did figure out that a heat lamp, the infrared heat lamps with the tin tops, that would test at, it was closer to 5 to, I'm trying to remember now, I should have wrote that down. It's just hard to heat things up. Heat takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy. And even right now, I have my phone plugged in, so I'm having to talk really loud. Hopefully you can hear me just fine. I do like, I bought 2 solar panels. I did not buy 5, I bought 2. With the 2 solar panels that I have, I did get the case, and it does come with all the attachments, and I'll go over really quickly my favorite things about this. I also have other attachments to things. This one, it plugs into your car. Now the last trip I did, I really gave this a go. I did a trip before where I had it plugged in, but I didn't realize the outlet in my car was a little rusty, and thank goodness, I am telling you, I think I did a short about it or another video about it, the Anker actually kept turning itself off. It was detecting that it was overheating in the plug that I had in the car. So it's the car plug. So you can plug it into the car to also regenerate the battery. Now, because it stores so much power, it is a slow regeneration process, right? Just because of how much power. So, but the outlet in the back of my car, because I have a couple of them, and I'll show you that setup probably maybe in the next video, because I'm on another road trip. So I was going to show up how I set my car, my Honda Element up different for that. But this, I should name this video specifically the Anker 767 and how to work it in a Honda Element. That's what I should actually do the next video on, I think. So this is not, as you can see, it's big, but it's not like huge. Say I'm just generating my lights here and my phone, the lights maybe for, I don't know, 30 minutes a day, if even that, and the phone would go, we're charging both my phones because I circulate them both, which means you're like as though your phone's almost plugged in all the time, because as one of my phones runs out, I plug in the other phone. So it's almost like I have a phone plugged into this thing almost all the time. That would be about 7 days. So I'm just kind of giving you an idea of timing, because when I watched a lot of the Anker videos, it seemed amazing, and it is. I really think because of all the research I did, I picked the right machine for me. It has the wheels. Otherwise, this thing is really heavy, even lifting it into your car, but it has the wheels and handles that are just so, this thing is so like heavy duty that it's been amazing. 2 outlets here. Car sockets. I can actually plug in here my cameras on my car, the security cameras things, and I can plug those into here. My last trip, what I did, and it worked out pretty well, I was driving quite a few hours, and that I think is why that worked. If you're going to stop in an area and be parked there for a while, short periods of time on my computer, which I'm not taking this time, just the phone plugged in and some lights like this at night, but I have hanging headlights too that actually run out my headlights. My lamp lights run out, my headband lamp lights run out, I also plug it into this. Even then, you're talking about 7. Now, I actually happen to have a New Air large refrigerator freezer. I normally put that in my car, use it as the bed platform, and sleep on that. I will not be taking that this time. I love having the refrigerator and freezer with me, but I find on most of my trips, I'm not quite using it. I mean, I'm like using it, but I'm not using it as much as I thought I would be, and it does put me close to the ceiling. So although I can sleep in there no problem, it just is, you can't sit up In the Honda Element, your seats lay down into a bed. If I just have the seat laid down into a bed, I can actually sit up in my seat and do work and stuff. We've got the big, I have not used this outlet. I don't have an RV. This is for some pretty powerful stuff here. And then we have the 4 house ones, which I do use. So I have a little rice cooker, a little pan that I cook meat and eggs into. It's one of those little minis. I have a video on my channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. If you go back and through my videos, I do have a video on my channel where I'm actually cooking a meal from the Honda Element, and I'm cooking like a pound of meat with my little thing. You have to do it a couple times, but with my little thing, and you can look at that. It's funny because I think somebody actually left a question in the comments of how are you cooking that, because it's electric, and I had, yeah, it's the Anker. I also heat up all my water this way. So like, you know how it lights up 100 here? I just redid it. It takes about 3. So what I do is I have the heating pot for my teas, my coffees, and all that, because you can touch the side of your pot and you can feel when it just gets way too hot to even touch. I'll turn it off rather than let it go for the next 3 or 4 seconds. I mean, it can go for a few seconds before it turns itself off, and that saves in wattage. So that depends if I let it click itself off or if I click it off. We're looking at about 3 watts, 3 to 4 watts. So this would go down to 97, for example, right? You have a Bluetooth thing here. If I push the Bluetooth, I have it on both my phones. I can turn on my phone, turn the Bluetooth on my phone, hit the Bluetooth here, and then I can just go on my phone, charging with my 2 solar panels. I can just go on my phone and see where we're at with the charging. I don't have to stay right by the device. And so now for the information of how long does it take to charge. I have 2 panels, not the 5, I have 2. They're in lines of 4 sections. They do take quite a bit of room to set up. Oh, I do think I have a video of that set up too. With the 2 panels, it takes me about 4.5 hours to charge. I actually live out in the desert. We have really hot days, although it's winter time right now, so it's perfect. I've been totally lucking out, and because I don't want the wind to hit the panels and blow them, but they're on the ground anyway, but it doesn't matter. On some of my videos I show you, I did a video where I lay the panels on top of my car, and there are drawbacks to that method. The benefit is it's not taking room outside of the car, like next to your car, but the drawback is a wind could pick them up and toss them off. And also that if it's hot out, and I've done this when it's not hot, but if it were really hot out, I wouldn't be able to do that because the heat of the car would, of course, overheat the panels. I do it if it's cold out, it's not windy, and I don't want to put it out on the ground for whatever reason, like parking situation or whatever. People are parked too close to you and you need to charge, and you're going to be parked there for a while, like you're having lunch or whatever. I did take out my panels once when I went to the trip to Oregon. Plus there's also clouds, so I wasn't going to be able to get the full charge quickly. When you're traveling to places like Oregon or Washington, there's so much more clouds going on that you might not be able to do that. Now I lucked out. I just happened to be staying somewhere where somebody had a house outlet. Like even when I'm home, I use this all the time. I charge my phones, like even though I'm at a house right now, I charge my phones and with this, and I run my lights off this. I like the Anker. This is the charge cable for that just goes right into a wall, and it only takes an hour and a half, depending on how much power you got left. This last time I just charged it took like 30-40 minutes, I think, because I still had power in it, like 50% or something, and I've had no problem running it all the way down to 1% a few times. This is lithium iron phosphate batteries, so I ran them all the way down, and it still runs great. I rarely use this ever unless I accidentally hit it. I have something plugged in and to an outlet, and you have to turn on this outlet quadrant to plug something in. And see, he just clicked. It just clicked to activate this section, and I take it out, but I forget that there's still power running to this outlet, to these outlets here. If I have it on power saving mode, it'll eventually turn this off, so I don't have to turn it off myself. So you've got 2 USBs here, and then we have 3 direct plugins for like regular little game chargers and stuff. I have used this. I have not used this, and I use these 3 road trips. This is going to be our 4 as far as extended use of this is my power source. Generating it with the car, I'm trying to remember exactly how much watts it puts in, and if I turn off my car and undo it, it turns off my outlets. Like if I turn off my car, not all cars, if you turn off your ignition, does it turn off your outlets. And in that case, you will have to get out and unplug it because you don't want it to drain your car battery. Yeah, there's that. But my car, when I turn it off, it doesn't, it's supposed to stop the pole, and I've noticed it does seem to stop the pole, so it's not draining anything. In the Honda Element, the back plugs in my '08 turn off when the keys are off. I like to only travel about 3 to 4 hours a day. I don't really like to travel more than that before I stop for a few days or a day. I was really pleased that I was able to like put 20% back on or put a certain percentage back on before I stopped to plug in my phones or to use it that night or for anything or for making tea the next morning. I was really happy this last trip because I finally got the guts to just plug it into the back part of my car. I was scared at first because the front outlet that's all rusty, like I said, almost caught on fire. I smelled smoke and everything. But that wasn't the Anker's fault at all. If anything, the Anker saved my car because it kept turning off. It would try to activate it, and as soon as it got too hot, it would turn it off. I wouldn't count on that. It's like, I'm not going to plug it back into it. Nothing happened, but still, it all went away, but I just had that locked and blocked and do not use that outlet. And the one in the back, I checked, there's no rust in it, and I have not had a problem. Plan to not have anything, to not have cloth and flammables or anything around it while it's plugged in, just because it will get a little warm. But honestly, since it's been plugged in the back, I haven't had my refrigerator, my New Air. When I have that plugged in when I'm traveling, it does take a lot of power. I can only go 2.5 days before I have to recharge with my refrigerator and my charging my phones and my tea or coffee every morning and afternoon. I have a lot of tea and coffee that I use my electric thing for. 2.5 days, which isn't bad, especially if you live somewhere really sunny like me, because then you can just, obviously pull out the panels. If you can find a place to plug in, you can even do that. My go-to now is the car outlet, and my desperate, I want 100 charge, and I'm going to be here for a few hours, is to pull out my panels. The panels are a little heavy, cumbersome for the size of a Honda Element, but I'll show you that setup on the next video. Would I do anything different? Like this also, it has the handle, so it's perfect for somebody like me. To back up on these wheels are really sturdy and hardcore. And I know that I think they have updated this, like I think they have a new version or something. I've been very pleased with the 3 years of just, first couple years didn't really, I used it, but I didn't use it that much. Now I use it, I just use it. I'm not sure if there's anything I would change. I'm not enough of a techie to know, hey, I wish it did this, hey, I wish it did that. It's at least a 9 out of 10 for me. I would say a 10 out of 10. I guess it's a 10 out of 10. It's just, I kind of, the only thing that I would change maybe is that the panel situation, I think, is the only thing I would really change. A 10 out of 10. Basically I did a lot of research, and this is exactly what I wanted and exactly what I asked for. It is a bit, but I'll show you how it fits into my Honda Element. It actually fits in there really perfect. Like I said, my coffee machine only takes maybe 3 watts if I stop it. And so I just sit there and watch it and stop it as soon as my thing's hot. If my phone, I could plug my phones in continuously. This one's plugged in, now drain. This one's plugged in, now drain. Pretty much continuously for almost 7 days. My refrigerator, if my refrigerator is plugged in on top of all the other use, that's like 2.5 days before I either need to charge. Like my last trip, I didn't have the 2.5 day issue because every time I drove, I plugged it into my car outlet to recharge. Not here, But in the back, there's a thing you plug it in to recharge from your car as your car is moving. Like, oh, this is the way to do it. So you don't have to pull your panels out. So if you're somewhere cloudy, hopefully you have a car that when you turn off your engine, it turns it off. But you can, and if you're doing a lot of driving, you can have it plugged into your car. I hope this was helpful. When I watch a lot of the solar panel videos, they're not telling me exact what I can plug in and how long that would last if I had that plugged in. You know, I have a water distiller. That's what I originally bought this for off-grid, and I could have this out with the panels out, pumping and get it just right. It gives me 400 watts, sometimes a little bit less, and believe it or not, one time it was giving me more, which was weird. And my distiller, it runs at 570 or something, almost going out. I wanted to be able to distill a gallon of water, or close to a gallon of water, and have it plugged in and with the sunshine charging it to not drain it all the way. That's why I got 2 panels, because I wanted to make sure that in the 4 hours that I have my distiller plugged in, I'm not draining this thing down all the way. I'm probably going to end up with more panels. To me, I already kind of like, wow. And I have not got to test it together yet. I haven't got it tested together, because if I plug in with nothing plugged into this distiller, I only get I don't even get quite half a gallon before it just sucks all the power out. Obviously, I want a whole gallon when I do my distiller. So. But my distiller's too big to fit it in the car with everything else. As far as I'm concerned, I could probably still do it, but I haven't done that test yet. I'll do that test if yeah. Anyway, that's my 3-year review of the Anker. I right there in between 9 and 10 out of 10. That for another video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna cut out a lot of my repeat garbage. Don't forget to subscribe. I know I already said it, but this is the Impromptu Life. I'm Artist Atina, and subscribe and you will come along with me.